tremendous looking trophy.
Hello, welcome to Platinum Explosion, number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Black. Joining me, as always, Ashley Hobley.
Hey, John, excited to be here. Post State of Play. We got some stuff to talk about.
We do, and I think that's all we've really got to talk about as well. But I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
In the trophy cabinet, a silver trophy for July State of Play, because that's what I'm awarding it. So if you were to award it let's change up the ranking system. We're not going with numbers. We're not going with thumbs up, thumbs down. Go trophy. What trophy would you give the July State of Play?
I think probably like a gold.
Yeah. We can get nitty gritty and be like, I'll give it one silver.
I mean, if you
bronze.
show the game of the year in your State of Play, I mean,
yeah, that's fair.
You have to give it a boost.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't
boost that rating.
Yeah, I don't know.
What else we got to talk about? Is that it? That was it in the trophy cabinet.
Well, I could have put the other couple stories I got, but that would have killed my meme. So my ranking joke. So it's fine. All right, let's get into it. So reading off everything that was shown off in the State of Play last Friday. Was it Friday? It was Friday, right? Yeah, Friday morning. Reading off the PlayStation blog for all this sort of stuff. Interestingly, they kicked off the showcase. At an asterisk, they did announce ahead of time, no PSVR 2 news, no God of War news, no Horizon Forbidden West, blah, blah. They kicked it off with Moss Book 2. So a VR game that in the trailer says it's coming to PSVR, which is not a... You can't read into it and go, oh, maybe they mean 2. Because they haven't actually officially titled the PlayStation VR 2 the PSVR 2. Like, I know we all call it the PSVR 2, but Sony's wording is always the next generation of PlayStation virtual reality. Yeah. Like, they haven't...
We all know they're going to call it the PSVR 360.
Yeah. It's like when they didn't want to... They kept being like, look, we haven't called it the PS5. And then they did that logo thing one day. It's like, it's the PS5. Who'd have fucking thought, you know? Right. So they opened with Moss Book 2. I still haven't got around to ever playing Moss 1. I know it's supposedly very good.
It's one of the
you run around as a little mouse in a picture book setting, and it's like a I mean, a lot of people compared it to Astro, I guess, like because it was
because it's a similar thing. You're not actually first person view. It's very much
it's a third person platformer
away
in a virtual reality
VR game
setting. It was a cool trailer. My biggest question though, looking at this and having this open the show, did you feel like it was really weird to open with a PlayStation PSVR game? Considering we know PSVR 2 or whatever it's called is coming, and I don't know, it felt weird. Like, it was a cool trailer, and I'm like, oh yeah, I should totally play Moss, and like this looks cool, and I'd like to play this, but you know what I mean? Like, it just felt weird to get this announced now. What'd you think?
No, I thought obviously it was a very good trailer. I thought it was well set up and everything. I didn't mind that it opened the State of Play. I mean, it's fine. I think it would have like hit harder if they had of like, yes, here's Moss available on PSVR, PS Plus or something like that. Maybe it has already been on PS Plus.
Oh, I recall.
But yeah.
I mean,
but it was good. You know, at least PSVR is still a thing that they're supporting, at least for now, until they can finally announce whatever the next PSVR is called.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to presume this will surely get like a better version on whatever PSVR 2 is as well, or something like that. Like, because this didn't get a release date. And if it comes out even towards towards the end of this year or early next year, it's like, well, at that stage, is this just the last PSVR game? And you know, you're doing a port or whatever to PSVR 2 or whatever it's called. Don't know. Look cool though. I would like to play the first one, but I just can never be bothered. I don't want to use PSVR. That's the problem with all this stuff. It's like I just want a new headset. I just want a more comfortable way with less fucking cords to be able to play PSVR at this stage. I don't. Next game they showed off was Arcadegeddon, which is an early access title. It costs $30 Australian. It's on the PlayStation Store. It dropped right after the state of play, and you could buy that sucker. I haven't had a chance to play it. I do want to check it out. I've just been a bit busy. But it looks kind of like a third-person shooter in line with something like Splatoon. I don't. What was your vibes off?
It felt and looked like a shooter version of Knockout City.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously that's a game that's so prevalent recently. Same sort of vibe. But obviously it looks like they're doing a bit more than just shooting like a deathmatch thing. Yeah, it's definitely something I'll hope to check out, but yeah. Seems to be getting some positive feedback and that kind of stuff, so
yeah.
Yeah.
I brought it. Downloaded it.
Oh, okay.
I'm good to go. You know, the time was the only factor that I've been fucked up. But I have committed. I've purchased it and downloaded it. It was $29.95 Australian on the Australian store. So I don't know. Not free to play. Will it be free to play in a month? Spending $30. I don't know. Who knows with these games? Will it be $1 like Rocket Jump was?
Hunter's Predator's Hunting Ground wasn't, so
that's true. And that was fucking full price. That
game.
was like $60 or whatever, like full price. $30 is a bit more.
Don't pay for that Predator license.
That's true. $30 is a bit more of a impulse buy.
Easy.
Price tag. $60 is more. That's a commitment. So I can see that being a problem. But yeah, I'll play it by next week. It's fine. Next thing they had was Tribes of Midgard post-launch plans. I feel like I've seen this game at nearly every showcase for like the last 6 months, to be completely honest. It is everywhere, is it not? Do you not feel like you've seen this game a million times? They had the same trailer. It was
in a bunch of different places, yeah.
In E3, they had the same trailer play 2 or 3 times across that entire thing. So yeah, I don't really know. Like, do I care about post-launch material for a game that isn't out yet and I'm still just like, it looks okay, I'm not super excited about? Am I going to get excited about post-launch plans for such a game? Not particularly, to be completely honest. I mean, the game still looks fine, but
it looks good.
Yeah.
It's like 2 weeks away or something like that, so
you got what?
Looks like it could be fun.
You gonna try this?
Maybe.
Is that price depending or?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
Then they had a big one. What's up next? Possibly the biggest game show. No, I mean maybe not, but for this podcast, it is. F.I.S.T. F.I.S.T. Forged and Shadowborn release date trailer.
Shadow Torch. Yep.
What did I say?
I don't know.
Shadow Torch. Yeah, that's release date trailer. The game comes out September 7th. We finally have hashtag. I think we're saying hashtag Game of the Year for like 2 years now. Did we start talking about this in 2019? But hashtag
so. Might be earlier. I think it was episode 51 from memory.
Was that the one titled F.I.S.T's Game of the Year or whatever?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so we're up to episode like, what episode is this? 230 something? It's nearly 200 episodes later. Anyway, F.I.S.T. still Game of the Year.
No, 101, sorry.
There
101.
We go. I was about to say, well, either way, it's like over 100 episodes later, the game's finally September 7th, PS4, PS5.
Yeah. March 11th, 2019.
Fucking hell. Long time. And also, the fact, look, I'm finally excited to play it properly. Obviously, I played that Steam demo thing, and I talked about that on here when I played it. And I was happy that when I played that Steam demo, I wasn't like, oh my God, I have been on this podcast getting excited about this game, and it was terrible. Luckily, that demo was good. Obviously, it had a few things that you're like, I hope this gets fixed up and whatever before the full release. But it was like...
the mechanics, the base stuff.
The base mechanics. It was good. It was like, it's a Metro... In case people haven't been paying attention or first episode somehow. F.I.S.T, Fortune Shadow, George, it's a game in which you play as a bunny rabbit who has a fucking giant mechanical arm. Easiest way to describe it is it's a Metroidvania to a degree. Really cool art style, steampunk aesthetic, and the combat allows you to switch between different arms that you can get. Like in the demo I played on Steam, you had the knuckle arm, you had the drill arm. I think that was the third one, or maybe that's not. I'm making it up. And combat's pretty good, where you can block, you parry. Some enemies require you to switch to a different arm because you can break through their shields. Obviously, it wasn't too complicated, but it just had enough there that it wasn't just it wasn't like a side-scrolling hack and slash, because it had the block and parry and stuff like that. There was a little bit more nuance to the combat on top of it being a Metroidvania, and there were secrets to find and all that sort of stuff. We've been excited for this as a meme for 2 years, over 2 years.
Meme?
Well, it's kind of a meme, like. But I am legit excited to play this, but also it is part of the show's kind of DNA at this point, like when the game is actually out, I don't know. This has been like a running thing. But yeah, it was a very cool trailer. September 7th. Excited to finally get my hands officially on it and play it with a PlayStation controller, not a fucking, I'd use an Xbox controller on PC when I played that demo, like what the hell's going on there? Next game they announced, in case you wanted another one, 30-player Battle Royale, Hunter's Arena, comes to PS4, PS5, August 3rd. So this is a game in which you play it's a Battle Royale that has AI enemies. And then you can fight them, and you can run into other players. I thought it looked pretty average, to be completely honest. I don't think there was anything particularly exciting about this, especially in the rather crowded Battle Royale market that we have now. But I mean, what do you think of what you... It looked visually all right. Yeah. I guess that's the one thing it had going for it.
It looked fine. Obviously, we're not melee fighting gamers. So I guess that will be where it comes in, to see the depth of that and whether it has if you can somehow pull off a fighting game, even like a average or above average fighting game inside a Battle Royale mode, I think that will bring in a fair amount of users.
Well, I guess that's a good point. It's for an audience that, most of these Battle Royales are first-person shooters or third-person shooters, so
yeah,
it is looking to attract a different market than the core Battle Royales have. I couldn't tell because there's in the trailer they have a lot of blocking and parrying and stuff like that, but it's just hard to tell just how deep of a combat system you're potentially looking at, and if it's accessible even if you aren't, could you just button mash your way and still enjoy the game, or do you have to be a Street Fighter hardcore player to be able to get good fun out of this, so I don't know. Maybe.
Guess we'll find out August 3 when it launches on PS Plus.
That's
which
true.
Will give it obviously a massive start. Easy for people to give it a shot, so it's probably a good deal. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't pay for it to try it, but since it's going to be there,
it's less than a month away.
I'll download it and give it a go. Talking about fighting games, though. Sifu, which I think is how we say it.
Yeah.
Still not 100% sure, but...
Sifu is like a master.
Is that how you say it, though, Sifu?
You refer to your master.
But you say Sifu. You don't say Sifu?
Yeah, Sifu.
Cool trailer for Sifu that we've seen a bunch of times, obviously from the people that brought us Absolver. However, I thought it was kind of a trolly trailer, especially at the end, where they do a thing that most trailers do when they're about to give you the release date. And instead of giving you the release date, they delayed the game.
No, but the joke is each time he dies, he
gets older. I get the joke. Ha ha.
So they got beat up by coronavirus and then got.
Is that the joke? Because, I mean, yeah, okay. But,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like most trailers have that whole reveal thing when they go from saying like 2020 and then they'll date, or like they've solely had like a November 2021 release date or something, and then they'll do and they'll add an official release date, So it got to the end, it was like, and I was like 2022. I was like, what? That's not how this works. That's not how they should.
That's not true. But what was it? Final Fantasy 15? They had, at one point, they had the date, and then they had to change because it got delayed. They did that ticker tape thing.
They did. And that was a fucked up scenario too, because they actually did that release date reveal. That was a whole live event. And then they fucking ended up delaying it as well.
I mean, it could have been worse. They could have said out now, and then it switches over to 2022.
That's true. That would be disgusting.
That would have been trolly.
That would have been disgusting. But otherwise, cool trailer. I think it did a better job of explaining the core premise, which we're joking about now with the whole you die, you age, and that sort of stuff. Because remember when we did talked about the reveal trailer, everyone was like, this is cool, it's a fighting game, but what's it about? And it wasn't until I went on their website or whatever, and you could read the description, or in the YouTube trailer, in the description, that it explained why, because people thought you were playing as different characters, but it's just the same character that ages. So this trailer kind of gives you explains that better by having the ages and stuff like that. So
really, you only get like 40 lives or something during the entire game, probably.
Yeah, I don't know how.
You're aging like 2 years.
I'm like, if you're terrible at this game, what's the. Like, do you have to start all the way from the start again? Or is this like one of those tricky.
These are mortals.
Maybe. Or it's like one of those things they're trying to make more scary, and it's not actually that scary. Like Hellblade, where they're like, if you die too many times, your save file will get deleted and stuff like that. And that didn't actually happen. It's not actually. That never turned out to be true. People ended up dying like 100 times trying to test it. The save file still never got deleted. So, but it's like, what a troll effort. So, I don't know. Cool trailer though. Again, the one thing these trailers don't really explain or tell is just how hardcore the fighting system is going to be, and just how accessible this will be for people who aren't really good at fighting games. Because again, I feel like this game's getting a lot of attention because it looks really cool. I think a lot of people who are interested in this probably didn't play Absolver, and Absolver, third-person fighting game like this, was very fucking hard. The combat system in that game, my head struggled. I could not. I don't play fighting games, and I could not fucking learn how to play it. So that's every single time I view a trailer for this game, I go, I want to play it. It looks cool. I like the concept. But Absolver, I could never have beaten. It was too hard for me. I don't play these fighting. It's the one genre outside of like sport games where I'm just like, I don't know, smash buttons. I don't know. Hadouken. Got him. Tekken. Smash. Block. Do you have any of that fear, or you're just like, nah, got this shit?
What?
About like the fighting, because you played Absolver.
Yeah, I don't have an issue. I think the thing with Absolver was obviously the unlocking of powers was the thing that kind of like very slow kind of build up to getting a character that you could fight the way you wanted to fight and that kind of thing. So, and just the aesthetic of that world was kind of a bit odd and that kind of thing. This one feels a bit more, obviously a bit more realistic and like in the real world. Yeah, it's definitely top of my list of games I want to play. So,
yeah. Next trailer they had was Jett the Far Shore. Gameplay trailer. I still struggle to wrap my head around this game. So, reading what they wrote here on the... Who's wrote this, by the way, from the team? Randy Smith, producer-designer at Jett Squad. In Jett, you play as me, an interstellar explorer who was part of a team hoping to found a home for their civilization. The directives given to you by the Overseer Zhao are clear. You must trace the source of Hinwave signal that led you to this mysterious planet and scout the landscape for habitability without bringing harm to its unique flora and fauna. To that end, you will observe, inspect, and catalog your findings as you explore the unfamiliar environment. You'll need to make careful use of Jett's tools, such as the resonator, the dazzle lights, and the mechanical grapple, which can grab, transport, and punt heavy objects. I can't say I've ever seen someone use the word punt outside of football. Punt heavy objects, sure.
So, a punt is a devastating wrestling move, so.
Fair. What do you think it is? Because it looks like a combination of like a No Man's Sky.
Like you, I have no idea what this game is. Yeah, but it looks pretty, and obviously it's getting a lot of backing. So yeah, it could just be one of those really good indie games that just doesn't click with a lot of people, I think.
Really weird because, like, if you see some screenshots and it's the ship driving around, which is what I remember seeing in the reveal trailer and stuff, you're like, oh, like looks very like simmy or something because you're just this tiny blip ship driving around a planet or whatever. And then they have these other scenes where, like, looks like heavy story stuff. Like, it's just a weird combination. I'm not really sure, but I don't know. Might be one of those things where once you press play, you're like, oh, I totally get this and I'm into it. But yeah, based off the trailers and stuff, I'm struggling because it seems like a lot. I guess that's the way to say it. It seems like a lot for me to wrap my head around. All right, then they had Demon Slayer. How do you say the other part? Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. Which is that not just? I don't know why this is always included in the title. What's that translate to?
I don't know. I assume it's Demon Slayer.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it is Demon Slayer, right? Means demon killing blade is what it means.
Yeah.
So Demon Slayer, demon killing blade. So maybe the Japanese title is Demon Killing Blade, not Demon Slayer or something. But I just don't know why. I don't know why they include the Japanese title in the. Anyway, they do it for the anime and the movie and everything. I don't know. Anyway, Demon Slayer, the Hinokami Chronicles comes to PS5 October 15th. So this was a gameplay trailer that shows off the adventure mode or story mode, if you want to call it, where you are playing through the story of the anime to a degree, although you can play as different characters, and it's not exactly how it went at different points. And it doesn't look like it's 100% recreating what happened in anime because the scene they show off in the bathhouse or whatever, I don't remember what it was in this scene, wherever they are in the anime.
It's like a mansion.
Yeah, the mansion thing. Like it doesn't play out exactly the same, but obviously it's hitting the same story beats as the anime.
Yeah.
It looked pretty good though. If you're a fan of the anime, obviously. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks pretty good for anime game, a weeb game. Yeah, so it seems like it apparently is going to cover the story of the first season of the anime up to Mugen Train. So yeah, if you this is another way to experience the anime. If you don't want to watch the entire season, you can just play through this game and then you can watch the big Mugen Train movie.
Highest grossing anime movie all time.
Yeah, it's true.
For a second there, your face was like, "Oh, that is right."
It's true. Yeah, forgot.
And if you would like to listen to a spoiler cast about that, go find it on the What Do You Want to Watch podcast.
What do you want to watch? Yeah, earlier this year.
We talked about it. Yeah, it does look kind of fun. And obviously, I think this will do quite well because it is I would say Demon Slayer is the biggest anime surely it's the biggest anime
at the moment.
In the world.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah.
I mean, there's other ones that hang around, but surely for like the last 24 months or 12 months. And
yeah, of the last 2 years, I think it's arguably the biggest one.
Yeah. Then we got into Lost Judgment, got a trailer. So this is the follow-on from... Oh, fuck, what was the first? Judgment. It was just called Judgment, right? Yeah. It's like, did it have a subtitle? It doesn't. So yeah, you're playing a private detective, Takayuki Yagama. He's called to investigate the impossible case of 2 crimes committed at once. But what starts out as a straightforward tale of revenge bleeds into a growing criminal network, a flawed legal system, and those who would take advantage of both. So it's up to you to track down, uncover the criminals, and stop to go skateboarding if you feel like it or whatever. I think... So I wanted to play Judgment, much like I'm always like, I want to play Judgment, I want to play Yakuza. I do want to play these games. It's just may or may not ever happen for time reasons. But I thought this was a really cool trailer. And it just starts out so serious, you know, like, oh my God, this gruesome tragedy, and sets up this whole thing. And then it gets a little bit in, and next second, old mate's just on a fucking skateboard, just like doing flips and shit at a skate park. And I'm like, I went back and looked at the first Judgment. That game did not look like it had as much silly minigame stuff as this one does. And I think maybe that's because of that whole thing that we talked about a month ago, whenever it was, where they said the mainline Yakuza games are now these JRPGs. If you want the action Yakuza stuff, that's this franchise now. So I think maybe because they've made that switch, that they've included a few more of these silly minigame things that the Yakuza franchise was always known for in this, because it just looks like it has more of that. You get to walk a fucking corgi or whatever's going on. It's not whatever the actual dog is. Like I don't know what this game is.
Yeah, there's murders, and you're trying to solving them by beating people up.
This game's always just
it's weird.
Just like the most weird combination of weird and serious at the same time. I just don't know how it works.
It's great.
What do you think, though?
Although, I'm keen. I'm like looking just checking to see how much Judgment is at the moment.
It's
and like
it's 55 on the PlayStation Store, and I'm like, ugh.
How much can I get it somewhere?
Yeah.
59 OJB. I think it looks good. I'm keen to check it out eventually. I don't know if it'll be day one, but down the line. Although I have to bring up this story. Apparently,
is this about them not maybe doing a third one because of the
maybe not doing any more, because the lead actor that the character's likeness is based off doesn't like PC games. Doesn't want the game on PC.
Yeah, I saw. So people don't miss this story. That apparently Sega is in this negotiation war with the actors' agency solely over the fact that they, not at launch, but sometime after, they're planning to bring this game to Steam, to PC, and they haven't given any particular reason. So it really just does sound like he just hates PCs and PC gaming. And I've seen some jokes online this morning about it secretly being Greg Miller in disguise or something like that. But it's like,
I mean,
it's interesting.
I can understand. The only thing I can think of that could be a valid reason is he's worried about modders like taking his likeness and doing weird shit with it. That would be, because obviously it's so close to his actual likeness. That could be the only thing. Other than that, it's like,
but
it's kind of weird.
Was the first one
PC is obviously going to get...
Was the first one not on PC? Like if I open Steam right now and type in Judgment. Apparently not.
No, it does look at it. Yeah.
And the Yakuza's only... they got all the Yakuzas. No Judgment. There you go. So what an interesting predicament. I can't say I've ever heard of an actor or someone not wanting their game on PC because of any console or any
Anything. I mean, I could understand if you didn't want it on Xbox, but PCs aren't hurting anybody for the most part.
Oh dear. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. That is interesting. So yeah, look forward to possibly the Last Judgment. Yeah. See what happens with that one. It's funny because they've had such a rickety thing of this between the talking about how they want the worldwide release and then talking about how much they didn't realize how much extra work that would be, and they did, but then it was a lot.
Remember in the first game they had to pull it from shelves because there was a problem with one of the actors.
The dude got caught like fucking
doing drugs,
doing a lot of drugs. Yep. So, yep, it's had some time. Next thing they showed off, Death Stranding Director's Cut finally got its official reveal trailer. This has been a very interesting couple days since they revealed this. I'll talk a little about this. I think it's funny. It's a lot more than I thought it was going to be, to be honest. It's more than just a slight visual upgrade. It's more than just some dual sense features and stuff like that. It's got a whole bunch of new stuff in here. So, I was about to skip all the normal Death Stranding stuff in the press release thing here. Death Stranding Director's Cut is packed with a ton of new content and enhanced gameplay features. We are introducing more weapons, equipment, and vehicles, a variety of new modes, missions, and areas to explore, expanded storylines, and enhancements to the UI. We'll also be adding a new online features, including friend play and leaderboards, and more news on that coming soon. Today, however, I want to take this time to clear up a few things that have been floating around following our teaser release during Summer Games Fest back on June 10th. If you didn't see it, check it out here, blah, 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 blah. For starters, the content they were introducing in Death Stranding's Director's Cut was all built and developed from the ground up following the launch of the original Death Stranding. Everything from the firing range area to additional missions to the all-new Fragile Circuit racing mode. The aim was to introduce new content that would further expand the world within Death Stranding while enhancing the core game experience. New content isn't simply bolted on either. It's carefully woven into the core game experience and will be made available through discovery as you play. Most new content is fairly easy to find though there are some bits and pieces that will take some time to find and unlock. Although I can't really go into too much detail about the new missions and extended storylines at this point, what I can share is there have been a few hints have been added in the latest trailer we've released that gives a few clues as to what you can expect. We'll have more to share on that in the weeks to come, though I can confirm now that all the Half-Life and Cyberpunk 2077 content introduced to the PC version of Death Stranding will also be available in Death Stranding Director's Cut.
Oh, dip. I get head crabs.
You get head crabs, yeah.
Half-Life confirmed.
PS5, yeah. Half-Life 3 confirmed, yeah. Before we get into the PS5 features, we also want to confirm that many porters that have either just made their first delivery or if you're building loads of structures to help other porters unite the divided PlayStation 4 console save data will be transferable. We wanted to ensure that players, no matter where they are in their journey, could pick back up relatively in the same areas they left off when playing on the PS4 version, while also enabling players who have already completed the game the ability to jump to the areas where new content and equipment can be discovered. The PS5 features bullet points are experience environments, effects with the DualSense wireless controllers, haptic feedback, get closer to the world of Death Stranding with bespoke adaptive trigger resistance. Hear the sound effects come to life in 3D audio, requires compatible headphones. Get into the action quickly with the PS5 console's ultra-fast SSD and near-instant load times. Choose from 2 picture modes, performance mode with upscaled 4K and up to 60 frames per second, or fidelity mode in native 4K, both with ultra-wide and HDR support. And there's a special edition that comes with some, skins and stuff like that, digital, of course. And it'll cost $10 to upgrade. That's European. So I would say it's closer to $15, yeah, Australian to upgrade from if you've got it already. What did you think of everything that they showed off in this Death Stranding director's trailer?
I thought, man, Kojima got really upset with all the walking simulator talk. It's like
racing simulator now.
Just like, you think this is just a walking simulator? Let's put as much action in this game as humanly possible. More guns, more shooting. Now you got race cars all over the place. I mean, it's so weird and it's so bizarre. Like, yeah, he's like kind of Metal Gear Solid it more, I think. And it'll be interesting, people who jump into this after seeing all the action stuff and being kind of expecting that. And then for the first 10, 15 hours, it's still being a walking simulator.
I mean, like, so look at that trailer again now. They're like new battles. They're with some of the monsters that show up if you get caught. So if you don't actually get caught, you're not going to fight some of these monsters. Advanced combat mechanics, right? Upgraded melee and stuff. I barely ever got into fights because I was fucking sneaking around in the game and I didn't want to get into fights. You know, like mounted machine guns that the enemies can use and you can use. Again, depending on how you play the game, depends on if that's even something you will run into or... You know, that,
spoilers, you still don't want to kill people.
No, yeah, well, that's true. You just definitely don't want to kill people because that's going to make your game harder. The delivery support stuff will make the game easier. Like the fact you can throw a fucking...
robot down?
Well, you get, the robot buddy is really great. You got this jump ramp now. So good. But there's literally a catapult machine gun or gun that'll shoot a package in the air. I don't know if you have to have another place where it lands safely. I don't know how that works, but you know, like there's definitely a few things in this game that I'm like, wow, that'll just speed up and make things a lot easier. Obviously, they did tease there's some story stuff here at the end that they is part of what was in that first teaser trailer as well. It seems to be a lot to do with maybe the first BB facility or something like that, because you see a lot of the BB things in the ground and there's some graves and all this sort of stuff. So I think maybe that's where that's going to go. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the story stuff is, and I kind of hope it is, I kind of hope it's set after the game, because that would make a lot more sense for Sam as a character after the game finishes. I don't want to spoil it because, I mean, we're talking about a new release, so I know it's weird because I would have, if before he announced the director's cut, I would have been like, the game's been out ages. Let's fucking no spoiler warning. But now that's getting re-released, I'll just put the spoiler warning back. I'll put the spoiler warning back on myself, not to say stuff for a little bit here. But after the game ends, I think it would be cool for Sam as a character to want to go investigate and track down that sort of stuff, to find out more about the history of BBs and stuff. Because obviously, if you've played the game, you know by the end that would be stuff he's more interested in for reasons, you know. So I think that would be cool. The rest of the content, when they say, you know, you'll discover whatever their wording was, you'll discover naturally as you progress through the game. It's 100% going to be a thing of, the catapult will just unlock once you reach this stage of the story. You know, like everything else in the game, they're probably just going to litter them throughout. So whereas if I load in my PS4 save, you'll just get a bunch of messages in the message app and go, hey. You're like, you're going to have all these characters be like, do you want to do this? Because the Half-Life stuff, I didn't do the Cyberpunk. I didn't boot up PC version when they added the Cyberpunk version. But obviously I played through the PC version, and I did all the Half-Life stuff, and that was littered throughout where you'd reach a facility for the first time or whatever, you'd do their core mission, and then afterwards they would send you a message. It would say, oh, hey, I thought I saw something weird out at this area. You'd go to that area and then you'd start like the mission to get the Half-Life item in the game. So I presume this is going to be, that's how it'll be woven in. You're definitely not going to have to open an extras menu or something. Like it's just added to the game. I'm very keen to check out a lot of this stuff though. Obviously the story stuff is the stuff that has me intrigued the most, just a bit more Death Stranding, because I really like Death Stranding. Obviously, I played it twice. I'm happy I don't have to play it a third time, and I can just go straight to the new content and bring over my save file and hopefully just auto pop another platinum. You know, that would also be quite nice at this stage. But yeah, checking out the rest of the stuff as well, just the gadgets and the racing thing and whatever the fuck that is and why that's a thing in the game. But I'm keen.
When I was playing this game, the thing that I've liked the most was driving those vehicles around. They were so great to
You do a lot of driving, like I'm gonna say. One thing that's worth pointing out though, so Kojima on Twitter said in response to the game being called Death Stranding Director's Cut, which I was complaining another week. I don't really like the name Director's Cut. I don't know why Ghost of Tsushima's Director's Cut. Everyone's joking about this being called Director's Cut because it implies that this is the full vision. Whereas we all know Kojima got let loose and did whatever the hell he wanted, and that's how we ended up with Death Stranding in the first place. So it doesn't really make sense. Turns out, weirdly, that Kojima agrees, because on Twitter, he wrote, a director's cut in a movie is an additional edit to a shortened version that was either released reluctantly because the director did not have the right to edit it, or because the running time had to be shortened. In the game, it is not what was cut, but what was additionally produced that was included. And now I think he misspelled, but it's supposed to say director's plus, but he's like Delector's plus. Delector's plus. So in my opinion, I don't like to call it director's cut. Well, you know what, Kojima? Neither do I.
I feel like you have a choice. I think you could have vetoed that.
I'm going to call it a Delector's cut from now on. After that spelling error from his tweet, I think that's what I'm going to go with. You know what I think? I don't think like this is too. This may sound tinfoily, but I don't even think it's too tinfoily. I think between this and Ghost, both being director's cut, I think PlayStation is obviously making these decisions for both of the developers as a publishing choice, and they're saying you're calling it the director's cut, and they're having no say on this, and it's PlayStation doing it so there's almost like saying something as a director's cut. They're trying to like make that a branding, like if going ahead, if you see a PlayStation game that says director's cut, that's new content, upgraded visuals and stuff, extra features. Like, I think that's what they're trying to do, which is fine if they called it anything else, I think. That's how I still feel. They should have just called it, they should have come up with a different word. Maybe they didn't want to call it complete because then maybe in people's minds, they're like, well, why wasn't it complete the first time you released it? Like, I'm sure there's some marketing reasons to go through things, but landing on directors, I still think is wrong. And I'm glad that Kojima, in all his great wisdom, agrees. Yeah, I'm glad that he agrees. Will you play this? Will you go back to this, by the way?
I don't know. Yeah. I might like load my save back up, jump back in.
Finish the game.
I finished the game.
No, it was a meme. I know. Every time because there was that one time I said it and you were like, I finished it. And I was like, so now I just keep saying it. Yeah, load it back up, get the platinum. It's easy. Doesn't take much work at all.
Maybe I'll go back and like make sure I got all those roads built.
Yeah. That's an achievement, Not really. They don't give you a trophy for it. But it is an achievement, building on those roads.
Yeah.
Then you can race all around the map. Or however that works. I don't know. The last game in the state of play, of course, Deathloop. 9-minute gameplay. Honestly, now this may sound mean, this is the thing I cared about the least out of this whole state of play. And that's not because I don't want to play Deathloop and not because I don't think it looks cool. I am just sick of seeing Deathloop. Full stop. When they announced this and they said it's a state of play with a focus on Deathloop, I was like, better not be long. And then they said it's a 30-minute show with 9 minutes. I was like, I guess that's okay. And I'm glad they put it at the end because honestly, I think that was the better way to go than rather opening a show. Because I kind of just zoned out towards the end of this. I was like, I'm just over Deathloop. I'm sick of seeing it. I just want to play it. That's how I feel. This isn't nothing against the game. I want to play your game. Just stop showing it to me. I'm over it. How do you feel?
Yeah, I can understand that point of view, but yeah, this is a cool gameplay playthrough. And I honestly think obviously this will probably be the last time we see it before it comes out. Assuming it doesn't get delayed again.
September 9th. So it's not It's really not that far away.
Yeah. Hopefully.
The one thing this new gameplay showed that I don't know if I knew already or would see and I'd forgot about or something was there's that woman talking to him in his headset or whatever at the start. I'm like, oh, you have a partner apparently. And then at the end of the trailer, it's revealed that it's actually the character who's trying to kill you and hunt you down. Yeah. I don't know if we knew that character can talk to you as you're playing or something, which is quite interesting. And I don't know how dynamic the responses are from her, but at least in the trailer, they seemed rather dynamic where you die once or whatever and he gets revived, which is one of the upgrades I've talked about. You know, you can get these upgrades so you can come back 2-3 times, whatever it is. And she's like, oh, do you need a hand or whatever? So that was the one thing I learnt from this. Otherwise, I'm like, it looks like Deathloop. Looks like the same game I feel like I've been watching trailers for like over a year at this stage. And I just want to play it. No UI on that gameplay video either, which I find weird. I think there'll be UI in the real game. I'll be
probably
very shocked if there's not a UI for this type of game. We've got power-ups sucked it and you got a gun and everything, so I'll find that weird. And that's it for the July 2021 State of Play. The one last thing I would say on it is at the end, they reiterated something they said in the announcement, which is that the wording was basically stay tuned for more big news coming soon. Like they tease that they may have more coming for those games that you want. Horizon, God of War, PSVR 2, whatever it is, possibly, I don't know. But they said they got more coming, which they better, because honestly, this was a fine State of Play, as I said. Silver for me. Fine. It was a good State of Play. It wasn't an amazing State of Play, but I wish this was a gold or a platinum State of Play, solely because it's the first thing that Sony's done after E3. They weren't at E3, and this was their post E3 State of Play, and I just don't think it was up to the caliber that we needed from them coming out of E3. Like, it just needed to be a bit more hype.
I think everybody's hyped out after E3.
No, I need some.
Still recovering.
Feed me. Yeah, feed me. Here's the thing.
I don't know. Do you think Sony is ever going to do a big showcase ever again?
Yes. Especially when they can do State of Play. PlayStation, whatchamacallit again? The live show. What's that called? The actual PlayStation Experience.
PlayStation Experience?
If they can do PlayStation Experience again, yep.
You think they're going to do that again?
Yep. Lock it in. Heard it here first. It's gonna happen. But the other thing that kind of annoys me is PlayStation. So Xbox hasn't put out fuck all for the Xbox. Right? So they had a slow start. They put out their
that's the thing.
Yeah. They put out their console in November, been fuck all to play on it. I don't feel like anyone can argue about that. Like first party wise, exclusive wise, there's been fuck all to play on it. Great console if you got Game Pass and all that sort of stuff. You play a lot of third party games, whatever else. Cool. First party, fuck all to play. They just did an E3 where they announced a lot to play that's coming over the next 12 months. PlayStation has had stuff coming out. Maybe they haven't all been the exclusives you want. Maybe Demon's Souls did nothing for you. Maybe Returnal did nothing for you. But you've just had at least Ratchet & Clank. And whatever else. There has been games. However, we're reaching a point where what we've known about and what was coming from the original PlayStation 5 reveal event, we're kind of reaching that wall where all of that's either out or about to be out. We're kind of waiting on Horizon, and then we're more or less caught up, not counting the indie stuff that was as part of that. That's not actually exclusive or timed exclusive, So we are nearly reaching a point where we need a big Sony event soon, because people are still enjoying Ratchet and Clank at the moment. Looking forward to Horizon. Some people, maybe some people don't care about Horizon, and they're like, "Well, what's next?" Need to know. When's God of War? You said it was this year. It's definitely not this year. You delayed it to next year. Is it actually next year? Find out. Because the PS5 reveal state of play was a big state of play. Now one was like an hour, focused on big games. So do that again. And if you're not going to do that, then why did we do a Horizon state of play a month ago, and then this state of play? Honestly, I would have rather all this being combined together. Just make a bigger event out of it.
But is it better to have one big news event or just have multiple smaller news events throughout the year?
I think they needed a big one coming off E3. And I would have rather them not have done the Horizon thing prior and then held off and then just done this Horizon and this together to have at least more of a substantial post E3 state of play. Because we discussed how coming out E3, Sony was just like, you could have nearly forgot. Everyone was talking about Xbox, Nintendo, PC. Oh yeah, that game's coming to PlayStation. Just they weren't in the conversation, and if they were in the conversation, it was because of the games that were out or coming out. Like Ratchet and Clank came out E3 week, which is good. Obviously, being in discussion for games that are actually out is probably better than being in discussion for games that are coming soon. But I think the games coming soon conversation keeps you in the zeitgeist longer than the games out now. You know, like everyone's talking Ratchet and Clank for a week, but who's talking about Ratchet and Clank now? I know that sounds mean, but that is literally how the world works, you know? Like, we move on. Everyone moves on super fucking fast, be it movies, game, TV, whatever. Everyone watches, digests, binges, plays that shit in the day. All right, what's next? And they're like, well, we just put out this fantastic game. It's like, yeah, what's next though? And if you want to stay with the competition, you gotta keep on toes. We might be able to play some Gran Turismo 7 soon though. This is the final news story for this week.
Ooh.
So, PlayStation Lifestyle rights. Gran Turismo 7 will apparently be getting a beta test at some point in the future, as spotted by GT Planet. The PlayStation website was running a promotion where the reward for completion was early access code to the beta. The problem is the beta isn't running and the codes don't work. The promotion has since been removed, it was found in the Experience PlayStation section of the website. Simply watching the original Gran Turismo 7 launch demo for as little as 10 seconds allowed players to unlock a code for the PlayStation 5 version of the Italy Gran Turismo beta. The problem is that the 12-digit code was the same for all people completing the quest and was a placeholder that didn't work. And the code was 1234567890112. Weird, but okay. Polyphon Digital is yet to announce a beta for the upcoming racer, although bearing in mind that Gran Turismo Sport had a beta test, it isn't all that surprising that one is likely to be planned. The quest seemed to indicate the beta would be PS5 exclusive. Oh, fucking hope so. Although whether this will change now that the game is also heading towards PS4 remains to be seen. The decision to develop the game for both platforms is reported to be a fairly recent choice, given that PlayStation Studios head Herman Hulse feels it's inappropriate to walk away from the large install base of more than 110 million PS4 users. So, yeah, it seems like we will be getting a GT7 beta soon, and someone fucked up and obviously clicked live on something that was being set up on the back end, and it wasn't actually supposed to go there. But if someone's setting up a way to get a code out of a trailer and all that, like, I'm going to say this is going to be coming. You're going to be able to get the PlayStation GT7 beta soon. So that's good because I'll play the beta. Would love to check out some GT7, see what that goes like, especially on PS5. We haven't seen it since the reveal event. It was very pretty, had lots of ray tracing. And I'm down. So, and I can finally clarify, after all my talking, if the load times are better than the atrocious Gran Turismo 5 or whatever I played last, 6, whatever it was. Don't remember. That'll do it. This week's episode of Platinum Explosion. Let us know any comments, questions, or concerns you've had about the state of play, PlayStation, this show, whatever you want. Tweet at us, join our Discord. You can find all of our Twitters heading to explosionnetwork.com/Twitter. You can find our Discord heading to explosionnetwork.com/Discord. And if you like this episode and thought it was worth $1 and or more, head on over to our Ko-fi page, explosionnetwork.com/support. You can drop as little as $1 to help out the show and keep the lights on for explosionnetwork.com. Until next week, remember that every trophy counts, including all the ones that I'll get for free when I transfer my save for Death Stranding to Death Stranding Director's Cut. Thank you.
Is that a thing? Do we know?
I fucking hope so. Make it so, Kojima-san. Hey, don't forget you can subscribe to the show wherever you're currently listening, and you can drop a review if you can. Find more great shows like this and more content over at explosionnetwork.com, and please consider supporting us for as little as $1 over on our Ko-fi page by heading to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thanks for listening.